Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our story today is dealing with the left targeting Elon Musk once again, surprisingly not for his money, but all for a tweet that he made regarding a booby joke. I kid you not. This one comes from a progressive outlet called Courts at Work, and I'm not saying they're progressive just from my end. They literally said they were progressive on their About Us, so at least they're open about their bias, where people like CNN hide behind the curtain and claim they are unbiased when clearly people like Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo have a bias. Well, this one is titled, "In one tweet, Elon Musk captures the everyday sexism faced by women in STEM." In the world's richest man's poor sense of humor, well, that's subjective, it could have been funny, is exposing how much of a boys club tech is. In a 29th tweet of October, Musk proposed opening a school called the Texas Institute of Technology and Science. Oh, the whore! The whore! He made a TITS joke. The acronym is TITS, T-I-T-S. God forbid that Elon Musk made a joke about boobies on social media. And that's supposed to show sexism all throughout the sciences and STEM fields and mathematics and engineering and tech. Oh, the horror. If anything we know, again, about the progressives and the leftists, they can't take a joke. They can't laugh. They take everything personal. Everything's victim mentality. Everything's targeted towards them and women and genders and elemental P, Q, R, S, triple X, B, LGBTQ, plus, plus, minus, minus, negative infinity. All this stuff, it just can't be taken as a simple joke and life goes on. When someone earnestly suggested swapping technology and science so the latter came first, on the premise that technology breakthroughs almost always follow scientific breakthroughs, Musk shot back, nope, T is definitely first. Why? Because when you swap the letters, the acronym would no longer be TITS. And he's done this with his Tesla models, right? The Model S, and then it's supposed to be Model E, the Model X to spell sex. Everybody gets it, but then again, oh, the whore! The whore! He's saying sex, God forbid. Look, is it kind of a corny joke? Yeah. Is it a little bit childish? Yeah. But it's a joke. So get over it. Life goes on. No, the Tesla and SpaceX founder wasn't sincerely talking about setting up a university, despite what entrepreneurs, political scientists, US senators, and politicians and professional athletes thought. Yes, he was making a boob joke. Right. We should leave it at that. It was a boob joke. Things go on. I heard sexualizing women is a top-down systematic issue in tech. It's just never ending, right? The racism, the sexism, the bigotry, the homophobe, all this stuff, it's never ending because everybody wants to be a victim. Well, this might be wrong, though. I don't know. Cher Scarlett, one of the leaders of the Apple II anti-harassment group at Apple, tweeted sarcastically in a response. What Musk's jokes suggest about company culture at Tesla and SpaceX. So because the guy made a joke on social media, they're going to now take that and create an entire culture of Tesla and SpaceX off a simple tweet of a few words. That's remarkable. I don't know. But hey, you know what? This is just the top of the line journalism that's happening over here at Courts at Work. Coming from anybody, this is sort of distasteful joke makes for an eye roll moment. It's childish and immature. Yeah, it kind of is, but it's also kind of funny. It's not that big of a deal. So if it's childish and immature, move on. But no. You got to create an entire story about it. Slam the guy's entire company culture because the dude made a tweet. But coming from Musk, who has almost 62 million followers on Twitter, what type of example is he setting? This is irreprehensible. It's like, God, man, you're just levitating above the rest of us, aren't you? On Twitter, and is the face of two important tech companies, it is potentially damaging to the entire sector. All right, sure. The entire market of technology and sciences is just messed up because the guy made a tweet. Honestly, as a shareholder and customer, this is really a puzzling and disappointing attempt at humor. Eric Wenger, Senior Director of Technology Policy and Government Affairs at Cisco. This is just so disappointing. The guy put out a tweet and it was a titty joke, even though we make all these jokes behind the scenes on the golf field, smoking cigars, having a drink with our buddies in the locker room. There's way worse jokes that are made like this to a lot of people, and this guy's going to stand up like he's holier than thou and has never made a joke like this before. We are trying to encourage more women to pursue technology degrees and career. I cannot see how this helps that effort in any way. Does it help the effort? Not really, but is it his job to help the effort of trying to encourage women to join a career? It should be up to the woman if she wants to join the career or not. And if you're going to label an entire sector of business like technology and science the STEM fields, as to one dude make an entire tweet, and that one tweet is going to deter women from not joining because you're like, is this the type of stuff that's going to go on inside the workforce? Does it happen? Yeah. I do not condone. I don't like that type of behavior of women being targeted in the workforce. I am a teacher. I work with a lot of women. I have nothing but respect for them. I am nothing but professional with them. I would never make a joke like that to them in the workforce or even outside, unless they were maybe a close friend. And look, I've known them for like 10 or 15 years. I know that they can accept that type of joke or something like that. Then that's the only time I'd make it. So I don't like that behavior. There's a lot going on with Activision and Blizzard right now on that type of behavior and culture inside the business. I am not for that. But the dude is not, from what we know, is not applying this type of joke to specific people in those workplace, to specific people in Tesla, SpaceX, or anything like that. As far as I'm aware, he simply just made a tweet, a silly joke. Everybody calm down. Tesla, where just 1 in 5 of the 70,000 plus employees are women. Sexist! Sexist. It's not equal. It's not 3 and 3. It's not 50%. You don't have 50% women. You don't have exactly 50% men. You don't have 50% white people, 50% black people, or 50% minorities, people of color, or 50% white. You don't have exactly what we need. You are sexist and racist, Elon. We're all sick of it. I'm sorry. I try to keep a straight face when I do this stuff. It's hard. It's hard because now it's 1 in 5. Because there's 1 in 5. Clearly, Elon Musk, Tesla, right? SpaceX, let's talk about Tesla here, is clearly sexist because they're not hiring the same amount of women that they are men. It's disproportional. It's created a disparity out there in the ether of Tesla. So now he's considered sexist, I'm sure. Has been criticized for being a hostile workplace in the past. Women, there are subject to inappropriate language, whistling, and catcalls. Now, I haven't gone through every single lawsuit since 2017 that's been given here by Tesla. Inappropriate language could be subjective. Whistling, maybe somebody wasn't whistling to you. I whistle in the workplace going down the hall all the time. If there so happens to be a lady that comes out of the room at that point and I'm whistling, they could think that I'm catcalling them, and I'm not. I'm literally whistling Harry Potter or some Strauss or Brahms song, and they could take it the wrong way, and still it could be subjective and filed as an HR complaint because you're considering a catcalling or catcalls. It's all subjective. Now, if that really was happening, that shouldn't be happening in the workplace, and nobody likes that behavior, and it shouldn't be happening. If there's guys out there that watch this and you pull this crap, you need to stop immediately. But all I'm saying is just because there's lawsuits filed does not mean the culture at Tesla is inappropriate. It doesn't mean that there's actual sexual harassment happening. I'm sure there has been in some way, shape, or form, but when you have 70,000 employees and you got one complaint, does not mean it's an epidemic like they always complain about. At SpaceX, where the representation of women is even slimmer than it is at Tesla, that's sexist again. SpaceX is sexist because they're not proportional. It's a disparity. The president and chief operating officer is a woman, Gwen Shotwell, who in the past has called Musk a great boss, who is funny and incredibly fair almost to a fault. Musk's latest messaging might not change that, but it arguably makes the characterization harder to believe. Oh God. You're painting a guy's entire personality and life based on one tweet? That's not responsible. It's one tweet and it was a joke. Everybody knows that. And this is how the progressives write. Right? You make one damn tweet and now everything else that you've ever done is thrown in the garbage and they're going to paint an entire picture about you. This is how this stuff works. Well, coming to grips with tech sexism problem. See, because there's a lot of women not choosing to go in the sector, now it's considered sexist. Now you didn't hire the proportional of women to men. Now you are sexist. There could be more men applying that job than women. There could be more men that are more appropriately qualified for that job than women, but because you didn't hire the women that are less qualified, so you have the equal measurement of dispersion between men and women, you are still sexist. This is how this stuff works. These people don't understand how the natural world, natural order works. Despite studies showing women are good for business, nobody's saying they're not. Nobody is saying they are not. Diversity generates higher revenues, varied ideas, and more effective teams. Tech leaders haven't done enough to foster safe working environments for them. A survey by Accenture and Girls Who Code found that half of women in tech roles leave their jobs by the time they are 35. Why? Why do they leave their jobs? With 37%, the largest percentage, citing non-inclusive company culture as their main reason for quitting. What does that mean? That they're not inclusive to women? Why? What is it that you're looking for in the workplace? I know when I went for interviews in accounting, you interview a lot of firms. I always ask them what their culture is like. What is their company culture like? So why are you not asking about that and researching on your own, talking to prospective and also current employees about what's going on in that company before you're hired there? So is that the fault of the company? Maybe. Is that the fault of the employee? Maybe. Is that the fault of the employer? Maybe. Who knows? But if you're leaving that job at 37% rate, it's probably not just due to non-inclusive company culture. I don't even know what that means. If any of you do, please leave me in the comment because I'm at a loss. What possibly could be causing their sensitivity? Well, there are structural issues like tech's well-documented gender pay gap. Oh my God. This is my head with the gender wage gap. There's reasons for that. We've exhausted all the variables that go into the difference in pay. God forbid you throw actual math into this, right? As a mathematician, statistician, God forbid that you make this and you throw those variables in there of why somebody could be paid differently, why there would even be a gap. But let's keep espousing, let's keep pushing this whole myth about the gender pay gap and let's just use averages across the United States, regardless of somebody's situation, down to the individual. We can't do that because if you do that, folks, you're sexist. If you do that on race, you're racist. If you do that on anything, you're bigoted. So that's how this game works. But there are also run-ins with things like Musk's boob joke. And that time in 2017 when an Uber board member interrupted a presentation about sexism to make a sexist joke. Unlike Musk's tweet, however, these unanticipated yet somehow not fully unexpected interactions usually occur behind closed doors. How do you know that? If they're behind closed doors and you're not involved, how the hell do you know if they're taking place? Because there's lawsuits? How do you know those lawsuits are legit? Just because somebody files an HR complaint and took something the wrong way, we don't know for sure if that was sexist or not. But, hey, we're going to paint an entire company's culture, Tesla, SpaceX, and our billionaire, off of one tweet. In the case of Uber, the board member in question resigned within 12 hours, and the CEO, Travis Kalanick, eventually stepped down over allegations of rampant sexism in the firm. At Pinterest, where former chief operating officer sued for gender discrimination, the company paid $22.5 million to settle her claims. Now, could this all be legit? Yes, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Okay, it was legit. It's wrong. You shouldn't do that. Everybody knows that. I don't know of a culture where men are being raised going, this is acceptable behavior. There's always going to be these animals out there. There's always going to be these disgusting people that are doing things they shouldn't be doing, and they need to be ousted, which is what's happening here. They're stepping down. You're getting rid of them. It came to light, right? You did what you're supposed to do. You filed your complaints. You filed your lawsuits. You got rid of them. Okay, I am sorry that's happening to women. It also happens to men. Disproportionately to women. It shouldn't happen in the workforce. We all know that. But because a guy made a tweet, now we got to bring this all to light here and paint a guy's picture like he's freaking Pinterest, like he's freaking Uber, and he's like all these other guys that got sued for millions and they had to settle. In most cases, if a boss had made a joke like Musk's in an office, it would be grounds for investigation, at least, if not an outright firing. Really? Okay, first of all, this joke is very generic. Should it be made in the office? Probably not. Old school, sure. But if you're going to sit there and say this type of joke should open up an investigation if the guy made it offhand, of like, I'm going to start a Texas Institute of Technology and Science. And it's TITS for short. Do you get it? Oh, well, investigation. Elon, your ass should be fired, by the way. Regardless of everything you've done, you're gone, man. I'm sorry. Peace out. We know you're the leader of everything, but because you said a little silly, funny joke that a middle schooler would make, you're automatically out. And by the way, we're going to investigate this damn thing. We're going to see who it led to, who was part of it, because you're all going to be fired now. This is how this works. You can't even talk to anybody anymore. You can't make a simple joke. Everybody is freaking walking on eggshells in 2021 because you got progressives like this that get all up in arms over a simple willy-nilly joke. As immature as it is, now we got investigations, right? We got to get Congress in this. We got to get the Oversight and Budget Committee on this for some reason. We got to get rid of the government subsidizing Elon now because he made a titty joke. Oh my God. But Musk's crude outburst, now it's an outburst. It's not an outburst. It was a joke. But Musk's crude outburst has played out for the world to see on Twitter, and he's pretty blaze about it. It's been 3 days since his tweet, and neither he nor his company have addressed the impropriety of it. Luckily, other people have. Oh, he didn't apologize for a booby joke. It just shows how systemic and sexist everything is within his company. Do you see how this works, folks? Do you see how when you highlight this stuff and read it aloud and you just point out the craziness in these progressives articles, the journalism that goes on the left? How do you determine if it's an outburst or not on Twitter? There's no tone like we have here. You lose about 90% of communication through text and tweets. But this is what they do, folks. They blow things up and make everything all crazy because you got an Elon Musk there, a guy that's a billionaire because he's evil, right? He's a billionaire because he got tons of money. See, oh, no. Right? He made a titty joke. Was it inappropriate? Maybe. Entirely subjective. He didn't make it to his company, right? He didn't say it behind closed doors. He didn't act like it never happened. The guy doubled down and said, no, I'm not going to exchange the letters or do anything. Everybody gets the joke. It's funny. Life goes on. I'm sure there's plenty of women that found this funny. Okay. But he didn't target it towards anybody. He didn't sit there and go to a prospective employee and say, hey, nice tits or anything like that, which you shouldn't do. Again, I can't be any more clear about this. You should treat women with respect and dignity like you should all people in the office and workplace, okay? Everybody knows that. We're hit over the head constantly about it, but everybody's walking on eggshells because you can't even make a slightly inappropriate. You can't tell somebody that got their hair like, hey, nice haircut. That's cool. You got a haircut, right? Because now you're going after them, folks. Sexual harassment because you said, hey, the haircut looks nice. You don't even find the woman even attractive at all. Maybe you're a gay man. You're like, hey, nice. I'm not gay, by the way, but even if a gay man did, like, oh, nice haircut. This is the craziness that we've gone in our culture of you can't even have a simple, polite interaction with somebody and say, hey, you know what, that haircut looks very nice on you. You're not hitting on them. You're not doing anything. You're merely highlighting them, making them feel better. Like, hey, you got a haircut. You changed your style a bit. It looks nice. I'm bald. I love when people have nice hair, okay? I'm lacking in that department nowadays. I'm not hitting on you. You have nice hair. You got a nice dress. That's great. Good for you. You look good in it. I'm sure people appreciate that. Dude, you got a nice suit. That tie looks sick, man. Nice. That suit is slim. It's a nice suit. Like, you're just complimenting people. Why can't you now, this is different than what Elon did here. Okay, fair enough. But you can't just compliment people anymore because they take it the wrong way. So nobody compliments anybody anymore. Everybody's just an asshole now. Everybody looks pissed off around the office because everybody's walking on eggshells. Nobody wants to get fired. Nobody wants an investigation to open up now. All of this stuff because you got these leftists that have to ruin everything. They have to ruin everything, and they do. You know we're right on this. And also, they ruin comedy. You can't make jokes anymore. You don't have to look any further than what they're doing. Dave Chappelle and his trans joke. Now the trans community's all up in arms, leaving leaving Netflix and walking out because they're all up in arms because the guy made a trans joke at a comedy place, which is comedy. It's a joke. You're supposed to laugh at it because everybody on the left takes offense to everything, and they're all victims. That you have to be a victim on the left. If you're not, then you're not considered leftist, right? But again, the left is holier than thou. They're above the rest of us over here. But there you have it. Elon Musk being targeted by the left. Once again, not for his money, but for a booby joke, folks. Well, thank you so much for watching the Bald Brad Show. Please make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Really support us here on the right side of the aisle because you have leftists like this that are trying to indoctrinate people that read this. With that being said, folks, I will see you later here on the Bald Brad Show.